Imagine a post-apocalyptic world that's covered in the sea. But the sea isn't water. It's made of trees. Vast canopies stretching endlessly to the horizon, swallowing the ruins of civilization below. This is the Wildsea, a place where ships glide across the treetop branches. And survival means exploration. Now, most post-apocalyptic games are about surviving the ruins of the old world. Wildsea is about thriving in what came. The old world is gone, swallowed up by a living tide of greenery. But this world is vibrant, strange, and full of life. The ruins of the past still lie beneath the canopy, waiting for explorers brave enough to dig them out. In this video, we're charting a course through Wildsea. This is one of the games that I picked up at Gen Con this year. You may have noticed it in my Gen Con haul video that I'll actually link to right up here. Wildsea is amazing. I am loving reading through this book so far. This is published by MythWorks, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit more about this game, about the setting, about the mechanics, so you can decide if this is something that you want to pick up and play. Now, Wildsea game is actually designed by Felix Isaacs and published by MythWorks Games. First of all, the book is horizontal in form, which is really cool. It allows for these really amazing spreads with some great artwork. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the setting in this video, and I'll put in some close-ups of some of the things in the book so you can see some of the amazing artwork in here. Now, basically what happened in this setting is about 300 years ago, a wave of greenery spilled over the planet from the west called the Sea. I just have some notes over here off screen on my laptop if you're wondering what I'm looking at. And now, get this, chainsaw-driven ships cut their ways across the treetops that they refer to as waves. The natural kind of contours of the canopy are what form the waves in Wildsea. Now, there are still some ancient spits of solid earth and old monumental buildings that are sticking up out of the top of the treetops that are now the ports, the cities, the farms, etc. in this setting. And each of them kind of has their own laws and ways that they go about things. And you are part of a crew of wild sailors, okay, in this. And you go on adventures in this setting. Now, one thing to note, and it's really kind of cool, is that open flames are absolutely forbidden here because everything is made out of branches and trees and woods. And if a fire started, it could destroy everything. It would spread very quickly. So there's no open flames. So there's some interesting rules to get around things, you know, like cooking and things like that. It tells you that flame burns hot and long on Wildsea wood and spreads at a terrifying pace. In fact, it says if fire does break out, even the most bitter enemies will likely put their differences aside to fight it together. If we're first meeting, I'm Kristen, and this is Kristen's Epic Adventures. In this channel, we go over all things tabletop role-playing. Rules breakdowns, tips, tricks, unboxings, reviews, and if that's right up your alley, you're going to want to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know when new videos come out. The other thing that it lets you know is that the economy in this system is barter based, which I thought was very cool. There's not really any money. You're usually bartering with food or materials or acts of service as your currency, and that the world is very weird, and we are about to go over some of that weirdness so you can decide if this would be for you. Now, another interesting thing about all the vegetation in this world, because it's pretty much a world made up of all vegetation everywhere. There's no bodies of water on this planet anymore. It's all vegetation. It has this toxic substance in it called crezerin, if I'm saying that correctly. And it does say that short-term contact, like on your skin, will kind of burn you a little bit, or maybe like leave a rash, sear your skin a little bit, because it's poisonous, it's toxic. But long-term contact can also affect your mind, okay? So that kind of brings in some really interesting role-playing situations. Salvaging is a big part of the mechanics in here, which is really cool. Now, this world that's made up of all trees and everything comes in different layers. And you can see from this amazing artwork, all like the greenery, right? The treetops and how it goes down and how all the twisted roots and everything are down here. And it talks about the layers. There are 6 layers of this Wildsea environment. 6 distinct layers. You have the skies. It says that is the blue expanse above. And that's where insects, birds, and the occasional airship kind of settle. Okay, then you have the thrash, and the thrash is the topmost layer of the iron-rooted trees that make up the Wildsea. It's a place of life and trade, and the forest canopy is studded with mountaintops, reefs of wreckage, and cities. That's where civilization kind of hangs out, in the thrash. Now, under that, you have what they call the tangle. Now, this is where branches get thicker, ships can actually rest their hulls, and it's full of insects and animal life. It still can be moved through, it says, with relative safety. But then under that, you get to what they call the sink. And it says this is the more dangerous layer. And this is where you can actually find shipwrecks. Once a ship that's up kind of on the thrash layer has like problems and then it sinks, it's sinking down through the tangle. The tangle, does say, is thick enough to sail on. So these ships, even though they sail through if they have any sort of shipwreck, they're going down to the sink layer. So they're not visible from the top anymore, but there's shipwrecks down in the sink layer of the Wildsea. It says it's as thick as the tangle, but far more dangerous. And this is where you're going to find very treacherous things, whether natural or unnatural. Under the sink, we have what they call the drown. This is the point of no return. The branches are thin and light dies. There's no light down here. It's darkness. And there are some horrific things going on down here in the drown. And even up in the sink, too. They have a lot of their largest creatures. This setting is full of leviathans, kind of live down in the sink area. Now, way down at the bottom, the absolute bottom, back down on the surface of this planet, where it used to be, is called the darkness under eaves. And it says it is absolute bottom. It is the roots and bones of the old world, and the less said about this place, the better. I love the artwork in this book. It's absolutely amazing. But that is kind of the world itself for the Wildsea. Now, going on a little bit, let's talk about characters, right? So we've got our setting, but what kind of characters are we going to play in the Wildsea? Check this out. This artwork is amazing. I'm trying to put a close-up in here. There are 7 different species that you can play in the Wildsea, which I believe are all represented right over here. You have humans. They call them something else. They call them the Ardent. They're essentially humans. I'm not going to go through all the exact names, but then basically you have cactus people. You have fungal mushroom people. You have spider people. Where's the spiders? Is this a spider? Yeah, he's got multiple arms right here. This is your spider people. You've got what's called ironbound. And now I do have to read you this because it's kind of interesting. The ironbound, it says they are the souls of wrecked ships that sometimes gather material from the shattered hulls around them, creating a body with which to escape the loneliness of the open waves. Really interesting. They call themselves the Ironbound, a reference to the strongest ships of the old salt sea, as legends tell it. Some can mistake them for machines, but they're just as capable of learning and emotion as any other ensouled being. Then you have the Ketra. That's this guy right here. And it does say Ketra are like the Ardent, that they're descendants of humanity. However, they had long-term exposure to Krezerin and were in cramped, pitch-black environments trapped below the wilds when the verdancy spread over. So they are, it says it warped them into something far removed from their ardent kin. And then lastly, over here, we've got moth people. So this is really some high fantasy stuff going on here. Cactus people, mushroom people, spider people, ironbound, moth people. I mean, this gets really interesting and it sounds so cool. I'm loving it. If you're finding this video helpful, go ahead and hit the like button. It just pushes it out to more people and helps more friends find us. Basically, your group is going to form a crew, and you are also going to have a ship while you travel the Wildsea going on adventures. So not only do you have a character sheet, but your group has a ship sheet. And not only do you get to build your character, but you also get to build your ship together. You've got stats for the hull and things on the deck, like things like that. It's awesome. Now let's talk also about magic in this world. Does magic exist in the Wildsea? There is a whole area in here about I believe it's called, there's this section on technology of the world, the spirituality of the world, and, okay, this is kind of essentially magic in this world without being magic. Magic, in the sense, does not exist in the Wildsea, but what they describe Arconautics as concentrated weirdness. It's not quite magic, not quite science. Beings will study Arconautics and capture this weirdness and use it in uncanny ways. It says it's kind of like a combination of art, science, and exploration. And if I can find an example for you, it talks about, gosh, perhaps, okay, here we go. You could catch something in a bottle, study it if you need to, and then use the weirdness that's in that bottle to maybe throw at something and attack it, right? Or let it out to attack something. It's kind of like that. Like I said, it's a combination of art and science, but it's just something that's weird, not necessarily magic, not people or characters with powers, but just weirdness in the world that can be studied, trapped, and used. Sounds so amazing. That's kind of your environment of Wildsea, and I'm going through reading this. It's probably the first time I've actually read a TTRPG book, like cover to cover, since D&D. A lot of times when I play, I just kind of like look up what I need to do to make a character and what the world's like. And then as rules come up, or I maybe need to research how to do something, I'll just jump to that section. But this is such a great read. Let me know in the comments below, are you going to check out Wildsea? Now, I will tell you, you don't even have to go out and buy the book. There are free quick start rules online, and you can also, I believe, find a free quick start adventure. These free adventures online are such a great way to try a system out without fully investing in the book. But I had heard so many good things about this. I knew it was something I wanted to grab at Gen Con. I'll tell you, I didn't even use the entire exhibit hall because it was wall-to-wall people. I looked on the map and found out where the MythWorks booth was. I beelined it over there, picked up what I wanted, and got the heck out. Are you going to check out Wildsea? Is it something you'd like to know more about? Let me know down below. Now you're going to want to watch one of the videos on the next screen. Go ahead and click that, and I'll meet you there.